Alright, I think we're live. Hello everyone. Today is a special live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a long time, but today is a special live stream because I hit 1K, 1,000 subs today, and it means the world to me. So thank you all who subbed through these past 3 years? No, 3 year, yeah, 3 years. I think I joined in. I think I joined YouTube in May 2021. May 2021. I think. Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna verify here on my account. Cause you could also see for yourself when I joined. I'm just gonna make sure I'm right. Yep, I started uploading in May 13th. Well, I created my account on May 13th, but I started uploading like a few months later or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, today we are celebrating 1K subs. Hello, Rena. Hello. Okay, we have 4 people so far. Hang on 1 second. And just a heads up for the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing another live stream. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but there will be another live stream in the next couple weeks, or sooner, or sooner. Rena says, I'm going to the Titanic 11:20. Oh, nice. Very cool. Nice. Do you live near the Queen Mary, Rena? Do you live near the Queen Mary at all? From my location, it's about what was it? 33 hours away from the location I'm in right now. 33 hours to drive. That's driving distance. That's driving distance though. A plane would be 4 hours. Flying a plane would be 4 hours to get to Los Angeles, but driving here to the port of Long Beach, that would be 33 hours. Oh, hey, historic ships. Okay, you're from SoCal. Nice. I'm building the Queen Elizabeth for next couple weeks in Minecraft. Nice. Nice. I was building, I was working on a RMS Queen Elizabeth Minecraft project, but I stopped. Hello, Aaron. And actually, I was actually building the location, a location she was in, to as well. King George the Fifth, dry dock. And if you didn't know, King George the Fifth dry dock is where the 1965 and 1966 refit took place. It was late. Started in late. It says in Ringo's book. So it started in late 65 and ended in March of of 66. Here it talks about that in here. Hang on. And yeah, you can find some photographs. Your best bet is Facebook, but you can find some photographs on Google of that event. Your best bet is Facebook, though. But you can you can still visit King George V Dry Dock. Actually, I don't know what's left of King George V Dry Dock. Well, I don't know if it was ever taken down or at all. Hang on. But yeah, the King George V dry dock. I mean, it didn't just carry the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. It held other ships too. Let me think. It held the Majestic, and it held today it holds a lot of cargo ships and freighters. But and also, of course, the QE2, the Queen Elizabeth II, of course, the Mauretania II, of course, and the Mauretania I, of course, and the Canberra, of course. And the Canberra is probably one of my favorite P&O line ships. I want to know your guys' thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts on the Queen Elizabeth's life in Port Everglades? Let me know what you think in the chat. What do you think of it? Personally, I think it definitely could have gone. It definitely could have gone better. Definitely could have gone better. I think for one, a different increase in the charge for tours of aboard the Queen Elizabeth, because for the amount of areas and locations they went on board the ship, I think it should have been more than just, it says right here. Oh, come on, where is it? But yeah, it was like $2. A tour was $2 and 50 something. Yeah, $2 and like 50 cents, I think. What's historic ships say? Historic ship says, if that would have still happened, I would be living in Florida at this point. Nice. Mark says coyotes suck. Or well, but you gotta remember, if she was still in Port Everglades, personally, I think that she would sink. She would definitely sink. And that heat, that was immense heat. That was immense heat, and the heat in Long Beach for the Queen Mary was a lot. What's the word I'm looking for? More, I guess I could say softer on the Queen Mary, but in Port Everglades the heat was way more harder on the Queen Mary, if you know what I mean. And for a 1930 ocean light, well, for her age at the time, that was not a, it was not a good thing, really. And she rusted, and she rusted. Wait, hang on. I'm just gonna look at the chat real quick. Aaron says, was it December of 68? That's when she arrived in Port Everglades. She arrived in Port Everglades on the 8th of December, 1968, if that's what you're referring to. And the Queen Mary actually arrived in Long Beach on the 9th of December, 1967, just pretty much a day apart, a year and a day apart. And at the time that Lizzie was in Port Everglades, the Queen Mary was still under the, she was still going under the, Long Beach refit conversion, and which the Queen Mary opened up in May of 1971. The Queen Elizabeth had already shut down. She shut down on after the 31st of October 1969. A fifth fire was discovered, I believe, on board, and so she was basically what that means is she was forced to shut down after being declared a fire hazard, and so yeah, for obvious reasons she shut down, because it was not safe. And but yeah, there were the crew, there were only like 100 and something crew members on the voyage to Port Everglades, Florida. There were only like, yeah, 100 something crew. Yeah, and so they they had nowhere else to get. They didn't fly back. They couldn't fly back to England, so they had nowhere else to go. So they were allowed to stay aboard the Queen Elizabeth for a while. And so there were TVs were brought aboard. There were TVs that were brought aboard. And so most of the crew that stayed aboard, they were staying in the officers' quarters. I don't know how many were in regular cabins though, but yeah, all of the crew that stayed aboard, they were all mostly in the officers' quarters. But yeah, one of the locations that one of the locations that were part of the tour in Port Everglades were it was the first class smoking room. And the first class smoking room and if you go to my channel, you just go to home, you could see my banner, my YouTube channel banner, the picture above my profile, and on the top of the screen. That's actually the map that held the two crystal models of the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth. And that was the map. You could tell. So what that did, you could tell wherever you were at on the Atlantic, because both models would move, so you would know where the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth were, and you would know what location you were at on the Atlantic. And you could still see the map on the Queen Mary today in the first class restaurant, first class, also known as the first class dining room. and now the Grand Salon. Oh, I forgot to post the link for the stream on Facebook. Uh, but yeah, the venture for the Queen Elizabeth in Port Everglades almost failed immediately, and but they still went on with the daily tours, and and it wasn't successful, but her owners actually they went broke, so yeah, they went broke, and so they could no longer afford to keep Queen Elizabeth, opened and open to the public. So she was put up for auction in August of 1970. The Orient Overseas Line purchased her. She was renamed to the Seawise University in 1970. And then on the 10th of February, 1971, she left Port Everglades for Hong Kong. Then she stopped at a couple ports, of course, but one of the famous ones were Nassau. And she took many cruises to Nassau because not only was she a transatlantic liner, she also became a cruise ship in the 65 refit. And also in this 65 refit, the Lido pole that you see on the stern, that was added. So that Lido deck is not original to the Queen Elizabeth, and the deck, deck on the stern, that Lido deck covered it. It covered a deck. Which I have many photographs that I could show you guys in a post in the community. Historic Ship says, wait, Mark says, wait, I gotta keep up with the chat. Okay, Historic Ship says, wasn't the QE like 40 if they kept her in mint condition while it was in Florida? It might be a little bended from the heat, but still there. Yeah, you are right about that. But she, you still gotta remember, if she was still, they would have to be taking care of her constantly, and she'd have to be painted several times a year, because she would what's the word, fade. She would get sun faded. I think that's, yeah, sun faded, and 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 I don't think they would want her to look like that, so they would want to paint her, but I don't know though. But yeah, there would definitely be a lot of hull damage. There was hull damage, and they would, and there would, and into this whole sinking theory, and that's what would cause sinking, is hull damage. And so the hull, especially the hull, would have to be taken care of constantly taken care of. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Historic Ships also says the QE could have worked in a Northern California or South Oregon. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but no one really claimed her. No one claimed her in the auction. So yeah, so Orient Overseas Line won. But she was also going to be in Philadelphia as a hotel and tourist attraction. But then too, Philadelphia also gets cold. But I don't think that would really be a problem though. But yeah, she was also going to be a hotel and tourist attraction in Philly. But but yeah, in but yeah, I don't. But yeah, but well, and also about that, what there's there's theories. People say, oh, they should the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth should be they should have been alongside each other in Long Beach, but the thing is with that, one of the ships would not be more successful. It's like it's like, so let's say you put the let's just say we put the RMS Olympic. If the RMS Olympic still existed, let's just say we put the RMS Olympic alongside um the Queen Mary. Let's just say the Queen Mary. The Olympic alongside the Queen Mary. People would want to go aboard the Olympic more, even though the Queen Mary's also on the same property, because the Olympics literally almost 100% identical to the Titanic, and people would want that experience because people in the 20s and 30s during her transatlantic voyages, people were actually they were sailing the Olympic because they wanted that Titanic-like experience. So yeah, there were a lot of people would kill to sail aboard the Olympic just to get that Titanic experience. So yeah. And also, I think there was, there was the whole idea they wanted to will the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth together, so that would mean they'd be connected by steel pretty much. But so I would rather that would be cool, but I would rather see that happen, like, so you guys know that where you aboard the Queen Mary, or any ship for that matter, on the gangway doors. I would rather, like, so like so have I'm sure plenty of you have been like downtown where there's like a hospital and there's like there's like it's kind of like a bridge over the road, but it's connected to the building. You're entering one side of the building, and the other side it's like a bridge but inside. But I would rather see something like that be connected to the gangways to the gangways of the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth. So yeah, I wouldn't want them like loaded together with a big thing of steel. I'd like to see something like that, like one of those interior bridges or whatever they are called by historic ships. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I would like to. That's what I would like to see them be welded together, like just like one of those like building bridges or whatever they're called. Interior building bridges. I don't know what they're called. And there was also a plan to turn the Queen Mary into a floating high school in New York. But that would mean they would have to strip all her luxury out, all her luxury out, and of course nobody wanted that, so that basically just faded away, kind of. And also Southampton wanted the Queen Mary, and many other places. Las Palmas, they loved the Queen Mary down in Las Palmas. They loved the Queen Mary, and she visited Las Palmas on Last Great Cruise. and the last great cruise was for there. It was an over 30-day voyage, so that was a pretty long voyage. Some folks sailed the whole voyage for over 30 days. They sailed the whole voyage, and some, they didn't want to, so they um um they exited the ship in, ports that were they stopped that were where she stopped in the last great cruise. But on the 8th of December 1967, she was in Mexico. She was in Mexico on last great cruise. And so she had to go, all around South America. Because she was too big for the Panama Canal. So yeah, she had to go and they try not to, have many ships go around South America like that. I don't know exactly why, but yeah, they just try not to. Hello, Davis. Thank you for joining. But yeah, the Queen Elizabeth, she never really, her last voyage wasn't really, like a last great cruise, that was, nothing really special. Unfortunately, her last voyage was really, obviously the voyage to, Hong Kong for as the Seawise University. And the last passenger voyage was also in 1968. And the last captain of the Queen Elizabeth was Commodore Geoffrey Thrippleton Marr. And his first name is spelled Geofffery. It's not the Jeffery, Jeffrey. It's the G, Jeffrey. He was also the captain at the time, and at the time that you guys all know the story. John Petter, the captain of the Queen Mary at the time that happened, was Marr. Marr was the captain at the time that all happened. He was also captain for some of the Saxonia sisters. The Saxonia sisters are the Saxonia, the Sylvania, the Carinthia, and the Ivernia. And the Ivernia became the Franconia. And the Saxonia became the Carmania. And then the Ivernia became the Federale Alpen, which my friend Peter Canego got to, he was lucky enough to visit the Federale Alpen and her sister, the Carmania, in Russia. And also you could see on his YouTube channel, he talks about it, his recent videos, his channel, I might leave a link in the description. His channel is Peter Canego, Midship Century, I think. And he talks a lot about his experience in Odessa. And right now I'm looking at Ringo Varisco, my friend Ringo Varisco's book on Facebook right now. It's on, or not Facebook, Blurb Books. You could, yeah, I'll probably leave a link in the description for that. But use those of you on my Discord, you guys have already seen it. But yeah, my good friend Ringo Varisco wrote 2 books about the Queen Elizabeth. He wrote RMS Queen Elizabeth, Cunard's Big Beautiful Ship of Life, and he also wrote RMS Queen Elizabeth, The Unruffled Cunarder, which pretty soon I will be getting both books. And they're very good. They have extremely rare unpublished photographs in them. And that's why they're, very special. Hang on. I have a question for everyone. Has anyone ever been to the RMS Queen Elizabeth boat? Has anyone ever been to either of the RMS Queen Elizabeth memorials? There is one in Torrance, which holds the anchor and 2 letter plates, and then there's also one in Manhattan with just letter plates. Let's look at the chat. K4RNA says, stop making me spend money, Moons. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Use Gboard. For the books. Oh. Mark and Davis says QM or QE on my photos here on the wall. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Aaron says I have not seen either memorials. Okay. But yeah, if you go to the next time you go to SoCal, Aaron, you go make a visit to Torrance, and you could visit the Queen Elizabeth Memorial in Torrance. Originally, the anchor letter plates were at the American Asian Bank in Beverly Hills, California, and next door was C.Y. Tung's building for the Orient Overseas Line. And the anchor, it was painted black. It was painted black while in Beverly Hills. I'm gonna catch up with the chat. Captain Alex says, on behalf of me and my 1K people, congrats on hitting 1K. You deserve it. And on to 2K. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome back, Max. Hang on. and I think I think I I uploaded a video of my photographs from torrents. I have so many videos I can't keep track. But yeah, I think I did. I think I did a YouTube short. I don't know though. I have just too many videos. And actually, the Queen Elizabeth II's anchor is in Southampton right now. The QE2's original anchor. And you guys all know the QE2 is in Dubai now. And she has been pretty successful, unlike her grandmother, the QE1. I call the or not her grandmother, I call the Queen Elizabeth the QE2's mom, because QE2 is the QE2 and QE is QE1. And I also call the Queen Elizabeth the QE3's grandmother, because I also call the QE2 the QE3's mom. If only they could speak. Hang on. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm taking care of something real quick. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Oh, by the way, Aaron, could you tell, can I tell, everybody, the story about, the Punkaloovers that you told me about? I don't know if you remember or not. I don't know if you remember telling me or not. Yeah, so my friend, Aaron, here in the chat, K4RNA, he was, staying aboard the Queen Mary one night, and you got, most of you guys probably know, what, Punkaloovers are. They are those, circular air vent thingies, and them circular air vent guys in the cabins on board the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth and many other ocean liners of the time. And so Aaron here, I think he like got up on top of the cuz above is, you know, the nightstand. So he got up on top of the nightstand, I'm assuming, and he was able to talk. And I think his friend, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, but I think his friends were staying in the cabin next door, and he was able to talk. He was able to talk through them like a telephone. And yeah, I think his friends thought it was a ghost. Yes, 4 cabin away. Oh, whoa, 4 cabins away. Wow. But yeah, there, some of those punkaloovers, they're still functional. And my friend David Lee, he told me that I or was that David, or one of my friends told me that you were able to see, you know the punkaloo, like when they would blow, you were able to see like dust particles and stuff. And that's what you could see, what you were breathing and stuff. But yeah, punkaloovers are, sometimes they're used as telephones on the Queen Mary. And punkaloovers are not just in cabins, they're in, other areas aboard the ship, such as the isolation ward. In Aiden Sinclair's old room, on the Aiden Sinclair was a uh illusionist. He was the illusionist aboard the Queen Mary. And he's no longer with the Queen Mary anymore, but he was the illusionist on the Queen Mary. And yeah, he just recently, not too long ago, he left the Queen Mary. But yeah, there's punkaloovers in there. And punkaloovers are one of my favorite my favorite in, fittings, interior fittings. They're a very, very, very unique item, in my opinion. And what I'm really grateful for is that some of them actually still work, so you could put your hand up and feel what it what they felt, what passengers felt adjusting punkaloovers back during service. And like I said, punkaloovers aren't just on the Queen Mary; they're on the Queen Elizabeth, Coronia, Mauretania too. They were on pretty much every ocean liner of the time. Pretty much, yeah, almost every ocean liner at the time, you would find a punkaloover. And punkaloovers, the material they're made of is Bakelite. They're Bakelite, and so is the Bakelite handrails in the corridors. And yeah, all the Rolanoid and Bakelite material are the punkaloovers, telephones, handrails, thermoses, and ashtrays. And the Queen Mary is, and I think the Queen Elizabeth should also be called. Here, I'm gonna turn the light on. The Queen Elizabeth I think, should also be called the Ship of Woods. The Queen Mary is, the Queen Mary is called the Beautiful Ship of Woods. Davis says, did the SS United States have punkaloovers? Unfortunately, no, she did not. In fact, the SS United States did not have wood at all. There was no wood on the SS United States. Only allowed in the kitchen for chopping boards. But yeah, there was no wood on the SS United States. But yeah, I'll be paying her a visit coming up pretty soon. This month. I'm hoping this month. But yeah, the Queen Mary and the SS United States have a lot of differences. Major differences between each other. But the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth, they also have their differences, but a lot of their interiors are very, very similar, and that was the whole point. But for example, a lot of the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth's interiors are identical to each other, and I have a lot of photographs that I've shown you guys. I have a lot of interior photographs to prove it to you guys that I've showed you guys several times of their interiors, and yeah, they're pretty much they're pretty similar. Mark says, let's do VC after this. Alright, I'm up for VC. We're almost 50 minutes into the live stream. Yay. I was gonna show you guys something. Hang on. I've got all that stuff. Does any of you have David Ellery's RMS Queen Mary, the world's favorite liner book? He actually just updated it in 2022. I have a copy over there. It's a very good book. I definitely recommend it. Let me catch up with the chat. Davis says, when you go to the Queen Mary again, can you take some videos of it? Of course I do, yes. So I try to, I try to get almost every, I'm the type of person that tries to get every inch of, stuff like that. So yeah, I take hundreds of videos and photos and hundreds of videos of the Schoonmaker and the Queen Mary, but yeah, I'm always taking photos. I reminded myself of Father Brown. I don't know if you guys know I don't know if all you know Father Brown. Father Brown was he was on the Titanic's maiden voyage, but only for 24 hours. And he took all these photos, and now they're all in these museums that you could see them today. And you could see them online, too. And, he took all these photos. He just kept snapping all these photos. It was very cool, and I'm grateful for all his photos. When am I going again? Davis, I am going in July, but I don't know any specific dates yet, but most likely July. Captain Alex says, I am game for VC. You can hear my voice talk about my channel suffering growth. Okay. Oh, hey, Brian, how are you? Brian's here. Aaron says, get the radio room and I will arrange you to transmit on the radio gear there. Okay, sounds good. I'll show you some Titanic memorabilia if you guys would like me to. This is my Titanic shelf. I need to add something here, but this is my Titanic shelf. This right here, Titanic Experience, that's a great box set. Brian says, how many photos do you think were taken of the Seawise University? You know, there were several. You know, there was there was several photos taken of the Seawise University. You know, you got Arthur Crook's collection of photos. You got the CY Tongue collection. You got professional photographers took, you know, photographs. You got, you know, even when she was still in Port Everglades, you got them pics. But yeah, you got several pics, you know. But yeah, so yeah, several pics were taken of CY's University X, the Queen Elizabeth. I also got this here. This is, I print these and I put these on my wall. Here's my Titanic poster. Let me adjust. And so I'm going to point right here. So as you can see here is the Lido deck has already been added. So you can tell this is after the 65-66 refit because the Lido deck has already been added. You know, there was an arcade added. There was the cabin class smoking room. One of my favorite rooms on board became the club room. It mentions that in my friend Ringo Versco's book. And but yeah, the cabin class smoking room became the club room on the Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, but yeah, nothing really changed though. No interiors really changed besides the Lido deck being added on top of the deck there that was already there. And Mark says the veranda grill. Yeah, nothing really changed really about the veranda grill. The veranda grill's right in here. It's right in there. It's like a box right here. It's in there. And here is the isolation ward, just like the Queen Mary. It's right there. And and going all the way up to the bow, here's the wheelhouse, officers' quarters, indoor roundabout promenade, and observation bar. And then prom deck all the way down here. And this is the port side, and here's the stern. And here's her two magnificent funnels. And down here, I got the Queen Mary in Long Beach. And this half circular superstructure here this on the bottom, deck here, that's where the Veranda Grill is. Then above, the deck above, that's where Sir Winston's restaurant is. And I think the Veranda Grill was open in Port Everglades. I'll verify that in my brochure with you guys later on VC. But 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 yeah, there was, when she was in Port Everglades, there were let me catch you with the shit. There were special events, like there was, in the first class restaurant in Port Everglades, there was, like a you know uh what's the word I'm looking for? There's this a big party. There was a party or something, but you could go, on board, and you were able to eat food and stuff. The food was not prepared on board. The food was not prepared on board. It was brought on board. But yes, that's still pretty cool though. And one of the major locations on the tour in Port Everglades was the Wheelhouse. And that's common for any other museum ships. Kids, they like to go up there and pretend like they're steering the ship with the on the helm. Captain Alex says, "Okay, buddy, I gotta catch up on watching a documentary. See you on my stream on Friday." Okay, Alex, have a good night. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Hold on 1 second. But yeah, everybody wanted, the kids always wanted to go up, on, and today kids like to go up on the in the wheelhouse and like to pretend they're steering the Queen Mary at the helm. Hello, Jay. And the way you can tell where the decks are, because specifically, so the first layer of portholes on each side to port and starboard, the first layer of portholes on the hull, the top layer, this is M deck, then the second layer is starboard, then the third layer, or not, my bad, A deck. I don't know why I said starboard, but the second the second is A deck. The second layer is A deck, and then the third is B deck, and then the fourth is R deck, restaurant deck. Then the fourth is C deck. Then the rest goes on. I said starboard, the second layer. And here is the mast where you can enter the crow's nest. And here on the Queen Mary's, I have some friends that have actually looked up, that no one I don't have any friends that have been actually in the crow's nest, but I have friends that looked up in the mast and could see. So that's, and here you would enter in here. But yeah, like I was saying, here's the first layer of portholes. This is the starboard side of the Queen Mary. This is the first layer. So this is M deck. This is M deck. This is A deck, B deck, R deck, C deck, D deck, F deck, and on. Let me catch up with the chat. Alright, Aaron, thank you for joining this stream tonight, and I will see you on VC tonight. Thank you for joining. Okay, you're still on the stream, okay. Thank you. Where's Steve at? Steve needs to join. Steve's active on Discord right now. Here, let me tell him to join real quick. Hang on 1 second, guys. Hang on 1 second, guys. And on the bottom here, in the this aft half circular for aft superstructure, and there, the veranda grill is part of the tour, as part of the tour now on the Queen Mary. So you could and it's and I don't quote me, but I think because before the pandemic, it was it was free access. You could access on a self-guided tour, on your own. You could just access it, without crew member. But yeah, I don't know if, because I know you could before the pandemic, but I don't know if you can. I think they might still be working on it. Yeah, you could probably by now, probably you can access by yourself. But yeah, I'll ask Steve for you guys. But yeah, in August I was able to access the first class main lounge, which is now the Queen Salon. Me, Steve, and Milan and my family were able to access the main lounge, the first class main lounge. But in August, the first class dining room was closed down. I even asked one of the janitors if I could go in just to get a picture, but he said no, just as of right now it's shut down to the public, but it will open back up pretty soon, is what he told me, and I respected that. So and the first class restaurant is on our deck. And our deck is pretty famous for the first class swimming pool, which is 2 decks high. The top deck, the second deck is our deck. Then to C deck and R deck. It's C deck and R deck. Um that's the decks she spans up. And then in the first, and then the third class did not have a pool, so at certain times of the day, third class was allowed to swim in the first class swimming pool. So I like to call it the first and the third class swimming pool. But second class had a pool near the stern of the ship. So yeah. Bye, Davis. I'll see you on VC. Bye, Brian. But yeah, first class, but yeah, second class. I mean, they had their own swimming pool. They had their own swimming pool near the stern of the ship. And the first class swimming pool, the first and third class swimming pool was near the bow of the ship. Is near the bow of the ship. And the second class swimming pool is now the theater, the 40 theater or whatever it is, which you could access from the exhibit hall where the spare anchor is now, and docking bridge, helm, and telegraph, and many other artifacts. And you could also access the engine room, because they didn't no one thought that anybody would want to go down and see the engine room, but now and today, that's one of the most popular locations on the ship to visit, is the engine room. Mainly for ghost stories and stuff, because the tragedy that happened on July 10th, 1966, a young man named John Petter was crushed to death by watertight door 13. Rest in peace. But yeah, one half of his body was facing aft, and the other was facing forward. It just literally split him in half. Literally. Horrible. And watertight door 13 is in the stern. It's in the stern of the ship. And that happened in the early hours of the morning. And there's, all these theories, that he was maybe involved in a bet. Gambling could have been involved. Something like that. So, yeah. We don't know for sure what happened that morning to him and why he got caught up in watertight door 13. It will remain a mystery. It will remain a mystery, and probably forever. So yeah, or some people think he was suicidal and just wanted to end his life that way. So yeah, we don't know for sure what happened. And he actually had a full-grown beard at the time that happened. Most photographs, he doesn't have a beard. He was only 18. He was barely 18 when that happened. It's sad how young he was. I think we should have a moment of silence for him. All right. And you know, and like the watertight doors, they go. It's like it's like in a threes pattern kind of. It goes watertight door 1, watertight door 3, watertight door 5, watertight door 7, watertight door 9, watertight door 11, watertight door 15. So twos basically, and then watertight door 13, watertight door 15, watertight door 17, watertight door 19, watertight door 21. That's kind of how it goes. There were 38. There was 38. There is 38 watertight doors total on the Queen Mary. I think 13 still exists, and there was only one out of 38 watertight doors that went down vertically. All the other watertight doors shut horizontally, and there's only one out of the 38 that shut vertically. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream and I'm gonna transfer to VC with you guys. So thank you guys for joining this stream. Thank you all that are subscribed to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been took a long time for me to get to this stage in my career. I never thought that I would get this far. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. So drive safe, and thank you all for joining. And I'll see you in the next live stream, in the next video. Bye-bye.